Hello everyone, welcome back to the Great Ones channel, and welcome back to another ranking video. And today, I'm going to be ranking all 10 movies that I saw in 2021 from worst to best. And if you're wondering what specific movies I'm going to be including onto the list, well, here's a picture showing all the movies that I went and saw in 2021. So yeah, just get a good look at the movies, just so you know what movies are going to be on the list and stuff. Just get a good look, pause the video if you need to. Yeah, okay. We should be good to go. So without further ado, let's get started with this ranking video. Coming out to number 10 is going to be The Suicide Squad. Now, yes, I know what you're thinking. I know a lot of you guys probably adore this movie, but I've only seen this movie once, and the first time I watched it, I just, for some reason, couldn't really get into it. I don't know if it came to the story or if it was the characters. Something about this movie didn't feel right, and I just couldn't really get into it. It's a very strange movie, obviously, and there are some good stuff in it. Like, I do like the use of the violence and the brutal scenes and stuff. They were pretty fun to watch, and the movie does have some pretty good humor at times. There are times that the humor doesn't really work all that well.
69.
69?
I've only seen this movie once, so I probably will need to rewatch it again, maybe to understand it more and get more into it or something. I don't know. But the first time I watched it, I just couldn't get into it. I couldn't get into the characters, the story, or anything. I just couldn't really get into this movie. So I may need to rewatch it, but overall, for right now, I'm going to say this. The Suicide Squad is my least favorite movie that I saw in 2021 because it was the least interesting one, to my opinion. So I'm very sorry. Coming up to number 9 is going to be Black Widow. Yes, Black Widow's own solo film. That's not really about her. It's more about her sister. But anyways, Black Widow, I did end up going to see. I originally had no interest in seeing it, but I ended up seeing it in theaters. And first time watching it, I wasn't really all that much. I wasn't really into it. I've seen the movie twice now, and I've never found the movie all that interesting. The villain of the movie, what's his name, Taskmaster or something like that. I mean, the whole thing about him having like the same abilities as the Avengers was interesting. I wish I saw a little more of that, but you know, it was kind of interesting. But overall, the villain was kind of forgettable, not gonna lie. You know, we got characters like Yelena, who was kind of like the comedic part of the movie. And I'm kind of glad she's in the movie because she kind of saves this movie from, you know, from how boring it is and just being the big goofball character.
Thing that you do when you whip your the arm and the hair and you do like a fighting pose.
The movie does have its typical MCU humor that wasn't always all that funny, and that's kind of all this movie really had, to my opinion. I didn't really remember much from this movie except it being just like your typical MCU movie with its typical humor and all that stuff. Yeah, that's a bit of a bummer. But yeah, this is not a complete shit movie, but it's definitely not my favorite MCU movie, and it's one that I definitely wouldn't watch over and over and over because it's just kind of boring to me. So yeah, Black Widow, not a great MCU movie. It's not complete shit, but it's definitely not my favorite. Coming into number 8 is going to be The Conjuring, The Devil Made Me Do It. Now, if you know me well, you know that I do enjoy myself some horror movies. And this one had some good stuff in it, had some interesting stuff. You know, probably the most memorable scenes in this movie was the opening of the movie with the possessed kid going fucking crazy. And the nice peaceful scene of Ed and Lorraine Warren just taking a nice stroll down the woods. There were some fun moments here and there, but the movie did get a little slow and boring at times, which was kind of disappointing. There was a lot of like exposition and stuff. Some of the scares were a little too predictable and weren't even that scary. The whole thing going on with this woman who's like evil or something was kind of forgettable. I don't really remember much of it, and this whole ritual thing going on was okay. It was fine. I don't know. It was something. But like I said, I do enjoy horror movies, and this movie definitely had some really fun, creepy-ish moments. But there were also times when the movie got really slow and boring, and like, I don't know, it kind of like avoids me from rewatching this movie. But overall, it's a fine movie. It's not too bad. It's fine, but it's not great. So it's fine. It's fine. So yeah, let's move on. Coming to number 7 is going to be Mortal Kombat. Yes, the new Mortal Kombat movie. I know quite a bit about Mortal Kombat. I played a few of the games with my brother, and I was pretty shit at it. So obviously I wasn't the biggest fan of the games because I was just really bad at the games. So I wasn't the biggest Mortal Kombat fan. But going to this movie, I thought it was just going to be some fun movie that's faithful to the video games, and that's what it seemed to be. Well, not all the time, because I was also focusing on this completely brand new character that wasn't even in the games or anything. He's just a whole new character, and we're focusing on him and his family and stuff. So at times, it didn't really feel like a Mortal Kombat movie, but it was still pretty cool, and at times it was really brutal and violent, like a Mortal Kombat movie should be, and it was also really funny, especially from one of our main characters, or evil characters, or whatever you want to call him, named Kano. He was fucking hilarious. He was probably one of my favorite characters in this movie. Seriously, he was fucking hilarious in this movie. He was legitimately funny in this movie, thank the Lord. He was funnier than Yelena. Sorry, Yelena. The action scenes in this movie can feel a little too choppy, or just like a lot of stuff feels like it's been cut out and stuff. You can say that about the action scenes. They're still pretty fun. They're just, you know, a little too quick. But overall, the movie is still very fucking brutal, and that should be enough to keep you engaged with the action scenes because of how fucking bloody it is. Okay, whatever. Mortal Kombat, it's fine, it's fun, it's fine. Let's move on. Coming to number 6 is going to be Godzilla vs. Kong. Guys, obviously, this movie is insane. It is weird, it's crazy, it's got Godzilla and Kong fighting each other to death. Like, that's what makes this movie good, is those monster fights between Godzilla and Kong. That's what makes this movie so good, because of how amazing they look. They look incredible, those fight scenes. They are so much fun to watch, to seeing these two beat the shit out of each other. This movie is so insane, so weird and insane, that you even got a fucking close-up shot of Godzilla just casually laughing. This movie is pretty damn fun when it comes to the monster fights, but some of the human characters, like, I don't know, these two, Millie Bobby Brown and the big kid with the glasses, that kid especially, the kid with the glasses, he's meant to be like the comedic part of the movie, and none of his jokes were funny. They were pretty lame, and yeah, the little journey that those two go on is kind of boring and a little uninteresting, I'm not gonna lie. Then Mechagodzilla shows up, and it all doesn't even matter anymore. It's just like, holy shit, it's Mechagodzilla, and they're fighting, and it's crazy. So this movie is really enjoyable. It's when some of the human characters, you know, they're okay. They're not terrible, but they're just okay, and the movie can be a little boring at times, but the monster fights is what keeps this movie to be really entertaining. So Godzilla vs. Kong is a pretty fun time. Coming up to number 5 is going to be Zack Snyder's Justice League. Yes, oh my god, this is easily one of the biggest movies that came out in 2021, seriously. Like, Zack Snyder coming back to finish his version of Justice League. Wow. And it actually does feel kind of different compared to the 2017 Justice League. A lot of stuff feels different. A lot of, like, how the story is handled and stuff. It just feels different. Like, you know, all the characters feel kind of different to how they were in the 2017 movie. It's just, there's a lot of bigger stuff that happens in this movie. You know, you got all the Justice League who get killed, and they lose. Like, they actually lose, and then freaking Flash, like, runs so fucking fast that he actually, like, he reverses time, like fucking Superman or something. Like, what the hell? And now the 2017 movie looks like nothing compared to the Snyder cut, because, like, in the 2017 movie, what did the Flash do? He fell on Wonder Woman's breast. I'd say in like the middle of the movie is when things start to get a little bit slow, and the Justice League are kind of just like trying to figure out how we should kill Steppenwolf and receive these boxes or whatever. It's just kind of like that. But overall, it's still pretty shocking, like how like different this is compared to the 2017 Justice League. It really is shocking, and like the amount of really dark scenes that are in this movie that I only just remembered about like not too long ago. It really shocks me. Like, it's crazy how different this movie is, and it is a pretty well-made movie, and it does have some really heartfelt moments. So yeah, Zack Snyder Justice League, he did it's a pretty good movie. It's not a bad movie. Now, one thing that does cause me to never really rewatch this movie again is obviously the 4-hour runtime. Like, come on, I can't rewatch this movie again. This was like a tough movie to get through because of its runtime. Seriously, I can't do it again. So yeah, but overall, it's still a pretty well-made movie. Zack Snyder did a really good job bringing his vision of Justice League to life. So I gotta praise him for that. So yes, this movie is pretty fun. Coming to number 4 is going to be Venom, Let There Be Carnage. Yes, I know, this movie is fucking weird. But I enjoyed it, man. I really enjoyed the bizarre weirdness of this movie. You know, it would have been cool to see a much darker version of this Venom, but nope, he's just a comedic goofball character. But it's a bit disappointing, but it's still pretty fun to watch, I'm not gonna lie. There's a lot of scenes where Venom does some really weird stuff, and Carnage was a lot of fun as well. It would have been cool if this movie did get like an R rating and he would have been a lot more gruesome. That would have made Carnage a lot better, but Carnage was still pretty fun in this movie. I still enjoyed him quite a bit. There are still a few scenes in this movie that are a little too weird, like Venom just kind of like chilling at a party. I mean, it's kind of funny, but it's kind of random. It was kind of a pointless scene. I didn't really like that scene. And scenes that just go on for a little too long.
I'm sorry. I am sorry. I'm sorry!
I don't know why you're shouting at me.
So yes, this movie is pretty dumb. But then Venom and Carnage start fighting and beating the shit out of each other. Like it's Venom and Carnage fighting each other. What the fuck? So yes, I enjoyed Venom Let There Be Carnage. It's obviously, I do think the movie could have been better. I do think this is probably not the best way the movie could have gone. But nonetheless, for what they did with this movie, I'm not gonna lie, I still had a good time. Coming to number 3 is going to be Halloween Kills. Yes, as the title says, Michael Myers does kill in this movie in very interesting ways. Like I said before, I am very much into horror movies, but I'm also into Michael Myers, because he's been, like, through my childhood and stuff. He's fucking terrified me as a kid. So I was pretty excited to see where they were going to go with this movie, and I will say, I don't think it's as good as the 2018 Halloween. I think I found that to be a little bit better, but this movie was still pretty fun, and it also has some balls. Like, it had some really dark stuff. Not just with what they did with Michael Myers, but some other shit, trying to push for, like, its little, like, message going on with the whole mob thing that it was okay with the whole mob thing. I didn't really give a shit about it, but it was okay. And some characters do make some really dumb decisions, but I still enjoyed my Halloween Kills for its kills, obviously, and for Michael Myers. He was a lot of fun and really creepy at times, and I still enjoyed this movie. Like I said, it's not as good as the 2018 movie, but and some characters make dumb decisions and all that shit, but there are some really fun and brutal kills in this movie, and I still had fun. With this movie. I think it's not too bad. So yeah, Halloween Kills. Let's move on. Coming up to number 2 is going to be A Quiet Place Part 2. Yes, I am also surprised I'm putting this movie like here on the list, but it's just a good movie, and it was a great movie to experience in a movie theater. It actually felt really good watching this movie in the theater because of how intense it was. All the intense scenes, just watching it in the theater was great. It was so awesome. Oh, God. Nonetheless, man, this movie was fucking crazy. Like, these movies make me really sad just having to live in a world like this and having to stay alive and have to avoid making sound because of these creatures. Like, it's just such a it's like stressful thing to go through. And it's just a great movie because, like, the characters, you care about the characters and you don't want them to die from these fucking awful creatures and stuff. It's like you really care about all of the characters in this movie, which is awesome, and you just don't want them to die. And there's some really amazing, intense scenes in this movie, and when this movie ended, like, I just wanted to see more. When the movie ended and the credits started rolling, I was kind of disappointed because I wanted to see more. But yeah, either way, like, this movie was awesome. I really enjoyed it. It was really fun to watch in the movie theater. So yeah, I would definitely rewatch this movie again because it was just a lot of fun. So yeah, A Quiet Place Part 2 is a very, very good sequel. I would recommend it. And we finally made it, guys. We're up to the number 1 spot. My favorite movie of 2020. Of course, it's gonna be SpiderMan No Way Home, obviously. Yes, I know, a little predictable, but yes, No Way Home is my favorite movie that I saw in 2021. Like, the feeling that I felt when this movie ended, I was like, was that real? Did I just watch that right now? Like, what the fuck? This movie was incredible. You know, this movie bringing back all of the previous Spider-Man villains from the previous Spider-Man movies. It was just so weird to see them all come back, and it was a crazy experience, man. They were all great. And then at the end, having Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield show up, teaming up with Holland Spider-Man was a dream come true, man. That's what it felt like, honestly. It was awesome to see them come back. It was so crazy. It was, I don't know, man. Like, this movie was awesome. It had some amazing, like callback to the original movie. Some, like, it was also a great conclusion to Tom Holland's Spider-Man to this movie. Like, it was awesome. Like, him becoming his own man, becoming his own, like, his Spider-Man. Like, finally, like, it was such an incredible and beautiful ending. Seriously, it was a bit of a tragic one for Peter as well. And man, this movie was awesome. I can't believe how incredible this movie was. I was so happy when I walked out of the theater, man. This was a weird experience. It didn't feel real, but it was, and it was amazing. I love Spider-Man No Way Home, and yes, No Way Home was an incredible Spider-Man movie, and it was just amazing, spectacular, whatever. Alrighty, guys, this is going to be the end of my ranking video of all the movies that I went and saw in 2021. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'm sorry if my list kind of pissed you guys off a little bit of where some movies were put and stuff, but opinions, that's just how it is, man. Opinions, that's just what they are. It can be really annoying sometimes, but I'm sorry. If you want to share all the movies that you went and saw in 2021 from worst to best, like your own list or something in the comments, feel free to do so. Yeah, nothing else to say. So thank you so much for watching. See you guys in the next video. Goodbye. And I look forward to seeing all the other movies that come out in 2022. It's going to be crazy. So yeah, bye-bye. Released as of 3.